You're scrolling through a sea of TV options, wondering if you'll end up spending a fortune on a screen that ends up being more trouble than it's worth. You've probably heard the buzz about a 75-inch QLED that's supposed to survive rain, glare, and the occasional summer storm, but you're not sure if that promise holds up when you actually mount it on a patio. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. Let's break down what it really means to bring a massive, weather-ready display outdoors and whether it fits the way you plan to use it. First off, outdoor TVs aren't just indoor models with a waterproof sticker. The environment changes everything. Sunlight shifts the perceived brightness, humidity can fog the screen, and temperature swings affect electronics. Samsung's Terrace line was built from the ground up with those variables in mind. The panel uses a direct full-array 16-zone backlight, which means each zone can boost its own light output when the sun peeks in. In practice, that translates to a picture you can still see on a partially shaded deck at midday, without the washed-out look you get on a regular TV that's been shoved outside. The Quantum HDR 32X boost adds depth to bright scenes, so a sunset on your screen looks more like the real thing rather than a flat wash of orange. For anyone who likes to stream sports or movies after dinner, that extra contrast makes a difference when the sky is a little overcast. The wide viewing angle is another practical perk. You can sit anywhere around the perimeter of your patio and still get accurate colors, which is something you'll notice if you're entertaining a group that moves around while watching. Now, let's talk about the practicalities of actually installing this thing. At 75 inches, the unit weighs close to 80 pounds, so you'll need a sturdy wall mount rated for outdoor use and preferably a professional to handle the wiring. The built-in Tizen Smart platform means you won't have to run an extra streaming stick. You can pull up Netflix, YouTube, or Disney Plus directly from the remote or via Alexa voice commands. That convenience is a real time saver if you're already juggling a grill, a cooler, and a few kids. Who should consider this TV? If you have a covered patio, a pergola, or a gazebo that gets a mix of shade and sun, this model shines. It's especially useful for households that treat the outdoor area like a second living room. Think weekly movie nights under the stars, live-streamed concerts, or a dedicated sports bar space where friends can gather for the big game. The durability rating is high. The housing is weather-resistant. The screen is sealed against moisture, and the internal components are designed to handle temperature ranges typical of most temperate climates. In those scenarios, you're essentially buying a TV that won't need a separate protective enclosure, which can save you a few $100s in extra hardware. Conversely, this isn't the right pick for someone who lives in a region with constant, direct sunlight for most of the day, like a desert backyard with no shade. Even with the full-array backlight, the screen can still struggle to stay crisp when the sun is blazing directly at it. In those cases, you'd be better off looking at a dedicated outdoor TV with higher nits rating or a retractable awning that can provide more consistent shade. Also, if space is limited, say a small balcony or a compact patio, 75 inches may overwhelm the area and make the viewing experience feel cramped rather than immersive. The price point is where the real debate lands. The Terrace series sits at a premium tier, reflecting its specialized engineering and the Samsung brand. When you compare it to buying an indoor 75-inch QLED and then adding a third-party weatherproof enclosure, the cost difference narrows, and you gain the peace of mind that the TV itself is fully certified for outdoor use. That's where the value proposition becomes clearer. You're paying for integrated protection, a calibrated display that won't need regular recalibration, and the convenience of built-in smart features that work without extra devices. A few practical downsides are worth mentioning. The TV relies on Wi-Fi and Bluetooth for connectivity, which can be spotty if your router is far from the patio. You might need a mesh extender or a dedicated outdoor access point to keep streaming smooth. The remote, while functional, can be a bit finicky when you're holding a drink and trying to change the volume without spilling. And because the unit is designed for partial sun, you'll notice a slight dimming of peak brightness compared to an indoor flagship model. It's not a flaw, just an engineering trade-off to keep the temperature inside the chassis from spiking too high. From the rating side, the model holds a solid 4.3 out of 5 stars from over 300 reviewers. While we don't have individual comments to quote, that score suggests most owners are happy with the real-world performance, especially appreciating the weather resistance and picture quality after a few months of use. The handful of